because I'm dead. Like that, I know it's really hard to hear. Like it's hard to comprehend and internalize because we already have this preconceived notion of what death actually is. And I'm sitting here talking to y'all. So to hear the terms "I'm dead" come out of a living and breathing person's mouth, I know it's like what the? You know what I'm saying? But I died, Kira. I spiritually woke up by death. I physically died and was physically like reborn or like reincarnated or whatever y'all want to call it, and was shocked to even be here. I bled out in the middle of my God brother's living room. Now what I teach is to help people get to that point without having to die. So the meditation techniques that I teach will help you wake up spiritually. The healing techniques that I teach will help you wake up spiritually. You know what I'm saying? Like I make sure that no one has to do it the way I did it, because not everyone comes back. I don't know why God so chose to allow me to, but I know I was very, very, very adamant in the afterlife when I was with God and Christ, or the spirit. I call it the spirit that was with me and God, because it had no form. It didn't look like no Jesus. I don't know. I don't mind it being called Jesus, but it didn't look like nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I can't really give it a human name and feel okay about it. But when it was just me, God, and the spirit, the entity that was there with us, that God, I was very persistent about the fact that I didn't want to leave my kids. I didn't want to leave my kids. Okay? And God was like, you can come with me or you can go back to your kids. But if you go back to your kids, you still dead. You mine now. Cause you did die. You gonna stay over here with me. But if you want to physically go back to your children, you have to fully serve. Like, I'm taking your body. You will no longer be you. I'm gonna rename you and everything. My name is actually Eam, but I was born Alicia. I couldn't just... My birth certificate still say Alicia. My ID still say Alicia. So I couldn't go Malcolm X on everybody. I ain't got $50,000, $70,000 to go to the courts and change my name legally to Eam. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, and that was one of the reasons I was so adamant about coming back, because God showed me what the lives of my children would be if I stayed with him. He showed me how things would progress on earth without me. And then he showed me what it would be like to be with him in heaven. And although, when I tell you, it was so tempting. When you get a glimpse of heaven, I guarantee y'all most of the people that died did have a choice. And they got that glimpse of heaven and they felt like they had nothing to lose on earth. So they stayed over there with God. I bet the majority of people get a choice. I bet they get a choice. The fact that I got a choice lets me know that I can't be the only person that got a choice. You know what I'm saying? But baby, there was no language. It was all silence. It wasn't no English. It wasn't no words being spoken. It was all silence. So we had a conversation and I understood it in English since that's my language. But we weren't speaking. Our mouths weren't moving, but we were most definitely communicating. Amen. Most definitely. I understood what was being said in English, but there were no words being spoken. There was no language. It was pure silence. Pure silence. But yeah, the fact that Trey would have went to prison for murder, I would have been dead, and my mama would have had to raise my kids, and it would have took her a while to come get them because they were in Houston at my godbrother's house. I needed to come back to my kids. And I was like, listen, Lord, I appreciate the fact that you're real and all, because I didn't believe in God before I died. I didn't believe that there was a God. I ain't believe in no heaven. I ain't believe in no hell. I ain't believe in no devil. I ain't believe in no God. I ain't believe in no religions. And I grew up Baptist, left the church at 15. But because of my horrific childhood and the shit that I witnessed in churches, I didn't have none of them beliefs. I had that literally the church ran me away from God, which is real sad to say. The church ran me away from God. Okay? So I didn't even believe in God when I died. The fact that he was even real, I was like, yo, I appreciate the fact that you even letting me know that you exist. But my kids, what you doing? And he gave me a choice. He gave me a choice. He said, you can go back and you can let me have your vessel, but you can still walk the earth so your kids can have you. Or you can stay over here with me. The spirit actually was just balls of light shining and flickering and kind of in motion, formless and in motion, but not moving outside of... It's hard to... If you ever seen Charmed, the spirit that was there kind of looked like what it looked like when the white lighters orbed away or in. You know how the white shimmery lights, when the white lighters orbed? You know what I'm saying? The shimmery lights. That's kind of what the spirit thing looked like. Just kind of there, shimmering lights, just all kind of moving in no form but there. That's what that looked like. But God looked like me. It looked just like me. But it was understandable that it wasn't me. It wasn't me. I was still me in my eyes, in my vessel. And that me over there was definitely God. It had all the authority. It was guiding the whole thing. It was the communicator. It was the one asking me questions and answering mine. It was the one that showed me heaven and told me I could stay over there or not. I even asked God, why you look like me? We had a whole conversation. Why you look like me? He said, what am I supposed to look like? And the reason I say he is just because it's just a programming. I haven't broke that programming yet. But he, she, it. Truly God has no form. And you're going to understand that by the answer that I got from God. I said, why you look like me? He said, well, what am I supposed to look like? I said, I don't know. He said, exactly. That's why I look like you. That was the answer. Y'all know how I got a smart ass mouth? God is definitely going to reflect what he made in you. Because God got a smart mouth when he talks to me. Like, what did you expect me to look like? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Exactly. God has no associative form to take on when he appears to you. So it's going to look like you. That's the only way you're going to be comfortable. That's the only way you're going to really understand who it is. Yes, God is definitely going to reply to you, but it's going to sound like your voice. I talk to God all the time, every day. I actually don't do nothing without God telling me to. You know, but once again, it sounds like me. It's definitely you. Your highest self is an extension of your creator, a.k.a. God. Your intuition, that voice that speaks first before you start talking yourself out of everything and what if and everything, speaks first. That's God. But it sounds like you. What are the What you mean? They say there is a God in you. Yeah. Literally, think about it. Your DNA is 3-stranded. Mom, daddy, God. That's how you were made. That's how you were created. You have mind, body, soul. Your mind and your body is all your parents. Your soul, that's God. You can tap into any strand of your DNA. Just like you can look like your mama, you can look like your daddy, you can sound like your mama and your daddy, you can act like your mama and your daddy. Same thing with your 3rd strand of DNA. You can look like God, act like God, talk like God, be like God, be one with God. That's literally what God wants you to do anyway. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to love yourself so much that nothing else could love you more. And you're supposed to extend that same love to other people. Activate it, unlock it, access it, whatever you want to call it. It's inside of you. It's already active. It's already unlocked. So those ain't really the words. It's really access. Your mind and your body are so used to doing things physically and mentally that they haven't been nourished, nurtured, or taught how to do things spiritually. So it's just something you haven't accessed. You know, it's the other, 91% of your brain. You know, that 9% that we all use. What y'all think the other 91% is? So you mean to tell me I got my parents' DNA, my mama and my daddy, but only 9% of my brain actually knows, understands, and embodies that? 91% doing. That's God. That's your consciousness. That's your higher self. All you gotta do is learn how to tap into it. It's more like a tap in. It's more like learning how to access it. The requirements for what, baby? The requirements that God gave for what? The requirement was that if I chose not to stay with God in heaven and I chose to come back to earth to be with my kids, that I had to surrender my vessel. I was no longer me. Like I had to accept the fact that I was dead and allow my vessel to just be a vessel for the embodiment of my higher self. For God, the universe, the creator, source, the most high, whatever name you understand it. I no longer have that illusion of free will that people think that they have. It's been disillusioned for me. There is no such thing. There truly is no such thing as free will. Now you have freedom of choice, but I don't know who actually created the idea of free will, because free will comes with the basic the implication. I'm gonna call it an implication because not everybody would understand it. They will have to be able to have like more intelligence than just common sense to understand, but free will comes with the basic implication that you will not be punished by choosing what you choose. Okay? That's what free will implies. Free will implies that you're free to choose and that you will suffer no consequences for your choice. And that's not the case. Most of the time when people choose to go against what their intuition is telling them, what we call disobedience, bad things happen to them. They basically are being punished by the universe. The karma, God, creator, source, whatever name you understand it by, yeah, their lives would pretty much encompass a punishment. So that would make it not free will. You mean if I choose this, everything gonna be good, but if I choose this, everything gonna be bad? That would make it not free will. That would make it free choice. Everybody has free choice. You know what I'm saying? So that being said, the requirement for me was that I no longer had the freedom of choice. I don't have the freedom of choice. Like when I try, there have been times that I tried to choose to have freedom of choice, if that makes sense. There have been times since my death and rebirth, there have been times that I tried to choose freely. And the things that happened to my actual body literally made me feel like my birth, like that my new birth, the one that happened to me when I died, the rebirth, was being taken away. It made me feel like I was actually dying. Like it was like I was going against this contract. You know what I'm saying? That if I'm not doing it the way that it is to be done, because I ain't got no choice. It ain't you could do this or you could do that. This is what is to be done. That's it. This is what we're doing. That's it. If I choose to do some other shit, everything on me hurts. The cut that actually killed me stings. It feels like my leg is being ripped open. It feels like I'm being cut all over again, and it's been years. It literally feels like it's happening to me again. My leg stings and I can barely walk on it. My whole body hurts. I can barely move. I can barely get up. And as soon as I get my mind back right, like, okay, let me stop. Thank you, Ariana. It goes away. So I no longer have freedom of choice. That's not a thing for me anymore. Because I'm dead. Like that. I know it's really hard to hear. Like it's hard to comprehend and internalize because we already have this preconceived notion of what death actually is. And I'm sitting here talking to y'all. So to hear the terms "I'm dead" come out of a living and breathing person's mouth, I know it's like what the? You know what I'm saying? But because Alicia died and Eam is alive, Alicia can't make no decisions. Do that make sense? It would be Alicia's mind that's trying to make these decisions for like herself. It's not about me. It's not about me. I'm not here for me. I'm here for the kids. Literally here for the kids. And for everyone else. Everybody that God happens to bring into my energy. I'm here for them. So my existence is no longer one of like, what do you call it? It's not all about self-preservation anymore, I guess. It's about the preservation of everyone. So yeah, that was my requirement. But that is not required of everyone. You know, this is why I teach what I teach. You guys can achieve peace, you know, because that was the beauty of it. Yeah, there was a requirement, but I have peace. I have a peace that can't be taken or shaken. You know, I am abundantly prosperous. What I was telling Afia about how she stepped into that cosmic belonging place where all her manifestation instantly materialized, I live that. You know, when I meditate, I'm just doing it to help other people meditate. I live in a meditation. I feel like I'm always meditating. You know, and most of the time, it just kind of feels, when I'm walking around, it kind of just feels like I'm floating. Like I'm not really like here. Like I don't have emotions. And that can be seen as good or bad because I don't have negative emotions or like positive ones, if that makes sense. I'm always just in a state of peace and love, but nothing really affects me in a good or a bad way. You know, so there are definitely caveats to it, right? But at the same time, like when things happen, they have no effect on me. You know, when I'm walking around in the world, things like heat, cold don't really affect me. You know, I can get hot, I can get cold, but it's more of a physical reaction than a feeling. You know how you can feel cold and then you like shivers and stuff like that, like you feel cold inside? I don't get that. But you can actively see me sweat when I'm sweating. You know, you can see my hair stand on end when I'm cold, but I don't feel it, if that makes sense. It's like literally nothing can change my state of being. I'm always in the same constant state of existence, of being. It doesn't really change, if that makes sense. And the things I need kind of just, the things I want and need kind of just appear. They're just there. You know, they're just there. But to be honest, I don't want or need much. Like it, I don't ask the universe for stuff, if that makes sense. I already know what's mine. And at the time that I need the thing that is mine, it's there for me to make use of it, if that makes sense.